Are you literally throwing black gold right into your trash can every single morning? Think about it. You brew your morning cup, enjoy the energy boost, and dump the wet remnants without a second thought. But what if I told you that those discarded remnants are the ultimate secret weapon for your garden? Today we are diving deep into a simple daily habit that will completely resurrect your dead, tired dirt. I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at your morning brew the same way again. We are going to unlock the exact process of how those dark, wet crumbs can force your soil to burst into vibrant, healthy life in exactly 30 days. Prepare to have your mind blown, because the gardening industry does not want you to know that the best fertilizer is already sitting in your kitchen for free. Have you been throwing yours away? Let me know in the comments right now, and let us fix that mistake together. Before we get into the 30-day miracle, let us set the stage and look at the history of how we treat our gardens. For decades, commercial agriculture and gardening companies have pushed us to buy expensive, brightly colored chemical fertilizers. They promised fast growth, but over time, these harsh chemicals actually destroy the natural ecosystem hidden beneath the dirt. They kill the beneficial bacteria and leave the earth dry and lifeless. But long before these chemical factories existed, traditional farmers and smart gardeners relied on organic matter to feed the earth. Enter the humble coffee bean. When you roast and brew a bean, you are extracting the flavor and the caffeine, but you are leaving behind a dense, organic material packed with essential minerals. We are talking about nitrogen, potassium, and magnesium. These are the exact building blocks that every single green leaf on the planet desperately needs to survive and thrive. Now, let us break down exactly how this kitchen waste works its magic. Let us start by busting the biggest myth out there right now. You have probably heard people say that you should never put coffee in your garden because it will make your dirt way too acidic and burn your fragile plants. That is completely false. Here's the undeniable truth. While fresh, unbrewed beans are indeed highly acidic, the acid is entirely water-soluble. That means when you pour hot water over them in your machine, all that acid gets washed right out and goes directly into your mug. What you are left with in the filter is a pH-neutral material that is incredibly safe for almost every living thing in your yard. Instead of acid, those leftover crumbs are absolutely loaded with pure nitrogen. Think of nitrogen as a powerful protein shake for your garden. Just like a bodybuilder needs protein to build muscle, your vegetables and flowers need nitrogen to build strong stems and wide, dark green leaves. When you mix this material into your flower beds, you are delivering a massive, gentle dose of this vital nutrient. Imagine watching a pale, weak tomato plant suddenly turn a deep, rich emerald green. That is the raw power of nitrogen at work, and it starts happening almost immediately when you add this organic material to the mix. Now let us talk about the true heroes working silently in the dark beneath your feet. I am talking about earthworms. If you want healthy roots, you absolutely must have earthworms. And guess what? Earthworms are absolutely obsessed with coffee. Imagine opening a 5-star gourmet restaurant right in the middle of your backyard. When you sprinkle this dark material over your garden beds, it acts like a magnetic beacon. Worms will travel from all over to come and feast on it. As they eat the gritty texture, it actually helps their digestion. But here is the best part for you. As these worms tunnel through the dirt to get to their feast, they create thousands of tiny little tunnels. This process naturally aerates the ground, allowing oxygen and water to reach the roots of your flowers much faster. Furthermore, what the worms leave behind after eating is called worm castings. This is essentially nature's most perfect nutrient-dense fertilizer. Within the first 14 days of our 30-day timeline, you will notice a massive increase in worm activity. They are doing all the heavy digging and fertilizing for you, completely for free, just because you gave them your morning leftovers. But what about the creatures you do not want in your yard? Here's a fascinating twist. While the good guys like worms love this stuff, the bad guys absolutely hate it. We are talking about slugs and snails. These slimy little invaders can destroy a beautiful row of lettuce or delicate hostas in a single night, but you can stop them in their tracks. By creating a solid ring of used grounds around the base of your precious greens, you are essentially building an invisible electric fence. Slugs and snails have very soft, sensitive bodies. Because the texture of the dried crumbs is sharp and highly abrasive to them, they refuse to cross the barrier. It is like asking a human to walk barefoot across broken glass. Additionally, the small amount of residual caffeine left in the material is actually highly toxic to these specific pests. It overloads their nervous system. So, instead of buying expensive, dangerous chemical pellets that could harm your pets or local birds, you're using a completely natural, safe barrier. Picture your delicate green shoots growing tall and strong, completely untouched by pests, all because of a simple protective ring you poured from your kitchen filter. Of course, simply throwing a giant wet pile of this stuff directly onto your grass is not always the best approach. You need to master the art of the mix. Think of it like baking a delicious cake. If you only use flour, the cake will be terrible. You need a perfect balance of ingredients. In the composting world, we divide materials into greens and browns. Because our magical dark crumbs are so high in nitrogen, they are actually classified as a green material, much like fresh grass clippings. To create the perfect environment, you must mix them with brown materials. This means dry, fallen leaves, shredded cardboard, or old newspaper. The perfect recipe is about 1 part green to 4 parts brown. If you follow this ratio, your compost pile will heat up incredibly fast. The microorganisms will multiply by the billions, breaking down the organic matter into rich, dark humus. If you do not mix it with dry browns, the wet pile will simply turn into a slimy, moldy mess that smells terrible. But when you bake this compost kit correctly, you create an incredibly rich, dark earth that acts like a sponge, holding on to moisture and feeding your yard slowly over time. Let us dive a little deeper into the invisible microscopic world. Have you ever heard of the mycorrhizal fungal network? This is literally the underground internet of the forest. It is a massive web of beneficial fungi that attaches to the roots of trees and flowers. This web helps them communicate, share water, and transfer minerals. It is truly mind-blowing. When you introduce our Star Kitchen ingredient into the ecosystem, it provides the exact type of organic matter that these beneficial fungi love to consume. You are essentially upgrading their internet connection from slow dial-up to high-speed fiber optics. By feeding the fungi in turn feed your greenery. The fungal threads reach far beyond what the normal roots could ever reach, pulling in water during dry spells and grabbing rare minerals from deep underground. Imagine a tiny seedling suddenly growing a massive, invisible root system that spans for yards in every direction. This symbiotic relationship is the absolute key to drought resistance and massive blooms. As we approach day 20 of our timeline, this fungal internet is rapidly expanding, bringing everything to life. Sometimes your yard needs immediate help. Maybe a heat wave has left your tomato vines looking sad and yellow, and you do not have time to wait for solid compost to break down. This is where you can create a magical liquid potion. We call it compost tea, but specifically brewed for your greens. Just imagine making a mild, refreshing herbal tea, but instead of drinking it, you serve it to your vegetables. Here's exactly how you do it. Take 2 cups of your leftover dark kitchen grounds and dump them into a 5-gallon bucket of water. Let this mixture steep outside for about 2 or 3 days. Stir it occasionally to get some oxygen in there. The water will turn a rich amber brown as it pulls out all the remaining soluble nutrients. Once it is ready, strain out the solid bits and use this glorious liquid to water your sad, drooping leaves. Because the nutrients are now completely dissolved in the water, the roots can absorb them almost instantly. It is like giving an emergency intravenous vitamin drip to a sick patient. Within just 48 hours of applying this liquid magic, you will see yellowing leaves perk up and return to a vibrant, healthy color. Now, we need to issue a crucial warning for those of you growing tropical beauties inside your living room. Treating indoor potted environments is vastly different from treating the great outdoors. Imagine giving a toddler an entire bag of sugar. It is just too much of a good thing in a small space. Outdoors, nature has wind, rain, and millions of insects to break things down. In a small plastic pot on your windowsill, none of that exists. If you dump a thick layer of wet kitchen waste directly on top of your indoor potting soil, it will not break down. Instead, it will create a dense crust that stops water from getting through. Worse, it will start to grow fuzzy white mold and attract those incredibly annoying little flying bugs called fungus gnats. To use this safely indoors, you must be sneaky. You have to take a very small amount, maybe just 1 teaspoon, and completely mix it deep down into the potting mix where it cannot sit on the surface. Alternatively, The liquid tea method we just talked about is absolutely perfect and completely safe for indoor use. It gives them the boost without the messy mold. So, how does this all come together in our promised 30-day transformation? Let us run a mental time-lapse video. Week 1 is the initiation phase. You mix the material into your beds. At first, nothing seems to happen above ground, but below, the soil bacteria are waking up and multiplying rapidly, breaking down the grit. Week 2 is the invasion of the helpers. This is when the earthworms arrive in massive numbers, tunneling and leaving behind their rich castings. The dirt begins to feel looser and less compacted. Week 3 is the connection phase. The underground fungal internet attaches to the roots, and the newly released nitrogen is finally pumped up into the stems. This is when you notice the yellow spots disappearing. Finally, Week 4, the 30-day mark. This is the spectacular payoff. You walk outside and notice your flowers are pushing out more buds than ever before. The leaves are huge, glossy, and dark green. The dirt beneath them is dark, crumbly, and smells like a fresh forest after a rainstorm. You have successfully brought a dead ecosystem back from the brink, transforming it into a thriving paradise. And there you have it, the unbelievable, hidden power sitting right there in your kitchen. We have taken something most people consider absolute garbage and revealed it as the ultimate catalyst for a garden revolution. From busting the acid myth to feeding an army of earthworms, building an invisible fortress against pests, and plugging into the underground fungal internet. You now hold the exact blueprint to resurrect your tired, dusty dirt and turn it into rich black gold in just 30 days. The transformation is real. It is completely free and it is entirely in your hands. Do not let another morning go by without putting this incredible natural resource to work for you. Thank you so much for watching and learning with us today. If this video blew your mind, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our best-kept secrets. Now, I have a question for you. Are you going to try the solid compost method, or are you going to brew the liquid plant tea first? Drop your answer in the comments below and let us get a massive discussion going. See you in the next video.